Tuesday. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
thought we were already on.
Hi everyone. I am making tacos today.
Hi, Bill. Happy Taco Tuesday. How are you doing? What are you having for dinner tonight?
How
I'm
are
have
you?
I'm good. I'm doing really great. I feel like I'm watching a football game on TV. I'm working. I've been keeping busy today, so I don't be like super obsessed with what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But it's hard, you know. Hi everyone. Hi Nikki.
Hi
Hi
Nikki.
Cynthia. Michelle has a very important question. Are we drinking together tonight? I've got my I've got my green tea right here. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm sure everyone's keeping track of the election, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking to keep that stuff on, Yeah, it feels like a game, soccer game. But a soccer game, a football game, what am I saying?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but so today we are going to discuss some really juicy, important stuff. And so to answer your question,
We're
Michelle.
yes,
So
Tori and Bill. We're gonna have sake actually today.
Japanese wine, yes.
Japanese sake.
I drink on rare occasion. I used to drink every day when I worked at a winery, and now that has changed. Anyway.
So we want to talk about this topic because we always talk about like reselling, what items to source, but there is really a process with dealing with customers too. And obviously, customer service is very, very big and important in the selling process. So yeah, we want to chat about that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to chat about that. I can't believe we haven't talked about it before. I think it's going to be an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
This is a good time to talk about that because things are busy, right? We're in Q4. As soon as Halloween was over, which was this weekend, everyone's on Christmas mode, gift mode. Quick comment from Nikki, Glow Girl Glow, which by the way, she started her own YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Nikki Glow Girl Glow yet, GLO girl, GLO, do that because she's she's a reseller who just learns so much information, and she's picked up on things much faster than we did when we first started. And she's been helping us a lot with our budgeting. So thank you so much, Nikki, for doing that. It's been, if you didn't help us out with our budgeting, I don't know when we would start doing budgeting. So we do appreciate that.
Yeah. So in particular, I think today we want to chat about, actually, Marina is very good at this. I'm horrible. Every time we get a customer that's either want to return or the customer has a complaint, I freeze. I would not know what to do. And Marina is like the expert on handling this type of thing.
I have to say though, I learned about customer service. It was my very first job out of college, right? I worked at an investment firm, and I did a lot of training on customer service. So honestly, that is one of the best things that I ever did, was to take a job right after college that taught me about customer service. And thanks to that job, now I can apply it in every kind of aspect of life in my career. I use these customer service skills, I guess, at school as a teacher, and then, to manage a classroom and to deal with students and whatnot. And even just to like how I treat my coworkers at work professionally. And now with our side business, those skills have really come in handy.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to share some tips, please comment in the chat room. If you want to share like a story as to how you deal with customers, easy, difficult customers, would love to hear your story. So, should we
Excellent.
get started?
Yes, let's get started.
All right. So, here we go.
So these tips that we came up with, they were all on our own. We didn't, sometimes we get some of our information, it's inspired by others. But this one was just kind of on our own through our experience and knowledge that we have. So it is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, or Reseller Tip Tuesday. We're teaching you. We're talking about providing value through excellent customer service. You guys are going to teach us a lot as you consistently do. But hopefully, somebody watches this video who has no experience in customer service and can learn from all of our comments. So just want to do some shout outs. We have Girly Girl Style here, Girly Girl Style Hubs, and Cynthia R. Amons, and all of them are on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe to all of these lovely people's YouTube channels. You will not regret doing that.
All right. So these are examples mostly from our experience. So you guys are going to see communication between us and the buyer. So first of all, when you do get some type of complaint or some type of comment, some customers want a refund, we need to identify the problem, right? First of all, is really to understand, is there a problem? Question number one, and help them resolve the problem through the communication. And if the problem cannot be resolved, then you go to the next step. So in this case, Marina, you want to chat about that because this is your response?
Sure. I don't even know what it is, but I'm happy to.
This is the TV that we had sold, and
yeah, no worries. I can read it on there. So can you be? I guess I don't know what Susan said, but this is what I said. So I said, or is this what she said? Hi, is that what she said?
No, you said hi, Susan.
Okay, so I think she was saying that the TV wasn't working 100% properly. Okay, so this is what I said. Hi, Susan. Glad to hear the packaging was to your standards. I'm really sorry to hear that you got a tape eaten up. That's never fun. We always test items we sell in our shop and retest before sending out. Not sure what might have happened there. One main reason for that happening are rollers that need to be cleaned. So it's possible your cleaning tape might have resolved that. Would you mind using other tapes to test the issue resolved? And so then Susan replied, hi, I tried 3 other tapes and they're working for now. I hope it continues to work. I have a lot of tapes to preview. Did the TV come with the remote? Just wondering. So what ended up happening with this TV? We were able to successfully identify the problem. We actually did this, in as a team with the customer, and it's interesting because we both had the same goal, so it ended up working out. So we never heard back from Susan. The problem was identified. So something to know about vintage VHS or VCR players is that one of the very common problems is that the heads get dirty. So she happened to have, a cleaning tape lying around that she inserted, cleaned the heads, and the problem was solved. So that was a good example there. I do want to touch on some comments that we have from, I think Cynthia has a comment in here. She said, sorry, I want to get, I'm a little behind. I want to go back to this comment where Cynthia says, what do you think from people that make comments about low offers sent to them and they get mad for it? But we have a nice response from Tori. She said, customers should never be shamed for low offers or feeling like they didn't get what was promised. I agree with that. Definitely agree. And then also, this is really good advice. So Bill says, don't take it personally. We're all people. Yes. And that is actually, we don't have that as a tip, I don't think, unless I'm wrong, but that is a really good tip.
Yeah, we have one.
Oh, we do have one like that? Yeah. So yeah, not to take things personally. That's an excellent tip. And then Cynthia said, that's right, Tori, but it makes me sad some sellers don't communicate with them and they just decide to get mad for the low offers. For me, it makes me think they're not in the right place. So this is really great that this was brought up because this brings us back to customer service, which is what we're talking about now. 100%. Yeah. So we're going to get into that further. And again, thank you guys so much for, for joining in the conversation. And one really important thing. So this is customer service, but we're kind of catering it or tailoring it to reselling, right? So Cynthia makes a comment that this business, reselling, which is, we forgot to kind of say what this was, but it's buying things and selling them online, right? Is all about customer service. And that's true. Very good comment. And quick shout out to Buffalo Picker. Nice to see you, Buffalo Picker. It's been a while. Thanks for joining us this evening. So,
all right. Point number 2. Listen, I think it's really important when there's a complaint, when there's something, it's important to not react, but respond instead of reacting, right? So it's important to listen to what their concerns are, what they're going through. So this person purchased a TV from us, and there was nothing wrong with the TV. However, she mentioned, the TV, I received a TV yesterday and it's bigger and heavier than I expected. I would like to return it as I will not be able to use it as planned when my granddaughter visits. My daughter had one when she was younger, but it was much smaller. I should have asked more questions. So, here we're listening to the buyer. The buyer understands that she made a mistake by purchasing it too quickly without asking too many questions. So the key here is, good customer service requires us to really listen to what their concerns are. And they also want to be, they want to feel heard by us, by the seller.
Yeah. And honestly, probably more than 50% of the time, I would have loved to, I don't know, Michelle, if you have the one recent experience we have with the TI-86 calculator. That was a really good one. Do we have that one on here? Yeah, that was a really good one. So basically, a customer ordered a calculator and was very upset. We got our first 1-star review on, I think it was Etsy platform, and all of our reviews were 5 stars before that, 4 or 5 stars. So, it can be really, really simple that if we're not listening to what they're saying, we could miss something. And not, our goal in customer service is to meet the needs of the customer, right? So we have to be pretty selfless when we do customer service. And when I heard that she said it wasn't working, and we had, I asked Michelle, because Michelle does shipping, and we do retest all of our items prior to shipping, because especially electronics, vintage electronics, because we just want to make sure that they're working properly. If not, we're not going to send them out. And so I asked Michelle, hey, was this item working prior to shipping? She said, yeah. So I went in there, and we're techie people, right, Michelle? We know how to troubleshoot a little bit or figure it out. So I went in there and I was like, well, I used to have one of these. And I looked up common problems on YouTube. And one was when you turn on the calculator, it often starts out with a black screen. So what you need to do is you need to change the contrast, right? So make the screen brighter, because it was all dark. So I gave her the instructions, always responded courteously and very customer service oriented. And she was like, oh my goodness, that solved the problem, right? So she went back and she changed the rating. So of the 1 star to, she gave us a higher rating. So, that's not ever the intention to focus just on the ratings, but it does affect sales. But our intention, again, is to meet the customer needs. And if our items don't do that, after troubleshooting or communication, then we have no problem, accepting a return at that point. Yeah. Yep. And so a couple comments. Bill says, hear the buyer. They always want to be heard with a conversation. 100%. That's great. Great comment there.
All right, Marina, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of just reinforcing what we said, right? So direct to solution. So here's a comment that says, hey, I love this jacket, but there's a huge hole in the left pocket. Can I either return it for a full refund, including shipping, or get $15 to pay for a repair? Thanks, Zane. What did you want to say on that one, Michelle?
Oh, well, it's, again, in this case, the customer is very nice to offer a solution. But always focus on Look at Kiki. Always focus on coming from a solution-oriented place, right? Don't focus on the problem, because once you start focusing on the problem, the whole conversation will change. So
100%. Yes. Let's go to
cool.
the next slide. Okay. So again, we briefly touched on this one, but be courteous at all times, right? So the buyer will, sorry, this makes me laugh. Yeah. So do we have a slide where we say, yeah, we do. Okay. So be courteous at all times. How can you do that? Sometimes it's hard, right? But when, this is a job, this is a skill. Customer service is a skill. And you definitely want to detach from your own like personal emotions and always be courteous, because the funny thing about being courteous I learned is that often, I want to say like 80 to 90% of the time, it changes an upset customer to a happy one. And again, that's what you want, right? Like if you can, like, it's awesome to get, positive feedback from customers, but if you can change someone's mind, right, like the example on the calculator, then that's the best. So the buyer here says, I will leave a negative feedback if I don't hear from you by the end of the day. Thanks. Sorry, that just makes me feel it's just funny, and I don't mean to make fun, but the seller here says, which is us, we're sorry that you have changed your mind after our last communication. Our store does have a non-return policy. However, we will make an exception and are happy to accept the return for you. It's the buyer's responsibility to cover the cost to ship the item back. Please properly file a return request and we'll process accordingly. So when we are selling via third-party platforms, then we make sure to know all of the rules to provide appropriate customer service, right? So there are certain rules depending on the situation. So this is only part of a conversation, so it's hard to see the whole picture. But essentially on this platform, if it's something where we made a mistake on something, then we have to pay for shipping. But if it's something where customer decides to change their mind, then this platform requires that they pay for shipping. Either way, they have to do everything through the third party business, not through us, right? So we always direct people to do it in that way. So, okay, someone else also thought it was funny. So Bill's also laughing. He says LMAO, exclamation mark. And I guess, yeah, maybe you're laughing at the dog though, because the dog was, I guess, kissing Michelle.
Have you guys, received some sort of like, I would consider this like a little threat that says, hey, I'm going to leave you negative feedback if you don't do this. So, if, of course, respond in a very professional manner. You can also call and contact the platform, because if they, have comments like that, they could always report the buyer if they're not being nice. So
yeah, definitely. That's excellent advice Michelle just gave, is if you do have comments like that, again, you are selling on a third party. So it's a great idea to bring those comments to the third party, because again, if it's something you didn't do anything wrong, you're delivering excellent customer service, because our ratings do help us with our the success of our sales. You want to bring that to the attention of the third party so that you don't get docked unnecessarily, because it happens sometimes.
I like Tori's comment. Would you mind putting it up?
Sure.
Tori says, that's a threat for sure. I just briefed her before responding. That's funny.
I mean, it's funny now, but I'm sure we were not laughing when we first read that.
No, yeah. Anyway, all right.
No, that's funny.
All right, here's our next tip is respond immediately. I think this goes with either you're trying to close a sale or just, anything. It's customer service, respond immediately. So what happened in this case, I'm not going to go through it, but a package was lost and somehow the package was returned to us. So immediately we took an action. We called the post office. We try to locate the package and understand what the heck is going on. Why didn't it go to the buyer? So, after further investigation, we provided an explanation, and the buyer paid for the additional shipping, and we shipped it back to that person, and he was very happy. So
Yeah, so this wasn't I mean, there's a little bit of missing information in this story. But basically this story was that sometimes customers give you specific instructions on how to ship their items. So we followed the instructions. It didn't work out. And this, yeah, so, and this customer recognized that maybe their instructions were not the safest to get their package to them. So that's why they had no problem paying a little bit extra to redirect that mail to a different address. Yeah, so that's what happened, right? But responding immediately is important. And we do want to talk about another story that just happened. Right now we have the presidential elections are happening now. But over the weekend, we had someone message us. We actually have a second Etsy store where we sold a lot of what do we call it, merchandise for the election. And so so we had someone message us on, I think it was Thursday, right? And then the weekend that just passed.
yeah.
And then today's the last day, you know, voting is done in the East Coast. And actually they're from the East Coast, but they had been waiting for a while for their like a voting merchandise. And so the package was completely lost. It got lost at some point when UPS is supposed to hand it to USPS, and it got lost. So we immediately, when we got the message, immediately Michelle and I got to work calling UPS, calling USPS. You have to do a little bit of investigation in there. And we were able to locate the package at a USPS. And what happened was that the postal worker there, I don't know if I should be telling everyone this, but the postal worker there was making an exception to allow the customer to come and pick up the item even after they had closed. So this was kind of like something the postal worker decided to do out of their own kind of initiative because they had empathy. They had empathy for the customer, and that was like amazing. So, you know, act quickly, because thanks to Michelle and I acting so fast, it was a miracle, but this customer was able to have their voting merchandise delivered to their home the next day, because they didn't get our message on time. So they had it delivered the next day. We called USPS. The very, very, very kind USPS worker sent it to her home, and she got to wear her voting merchandise over the weekend. I mean, this is like I understand, right? We all understand like how important it is to be able to have the merchandise.
I got
on the
one
weekend
more
before
thing.
the election. Sorry.
In addition to calling the post office, we also managed to ship another shirt and overnighted that shirt to that customer. So now the customer has 2 sweaters.
Oh, we did? Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so that's like you gotta go to that level to make sure they're happy.
So we overnighted that same customer another sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, there you go. That's awesome.
Okay. Next one is, I think Bill talked about this. Don't take things personally. This is not a comment for us. This is something that I have found online. And the comment said, if you had tested this properly before you sent it, it would have been obvious that the batteries fit way too loosely. It could have been taken care of before selling it. So when you get angry customers, when they're not happy with what they receive, don't react, always pause, like Tori was saying, breathe, and respond professionally. At times, there are comments where it's going to tick you off, and they're not always right, but you got to provide good customer service.
Yeah, and Cynthia also has a good tip. She says that she breathes counting backward from 5 to 1. So yeah, so that's a good one. The breath one is actually excellent advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's also like a skill that you develop after doing a lot of customer service is, there's a way. It's kind of like when you're at work, right? We do have like our work person, like who we are at work and who we are at home. They're very different, right? So when we're at work, I mean, hopefully not too different, but there are some like filters that we use in the workplace, right? So we're professional, and we do turn on some filters. So it's kind of the same. Yes, this is your business. Yes, you're the boss. But again, to have like a kind of a set standard of professionalism will go a long way with a happy customer and even just a return customer. So remember, with businesses like ours that are so small, it's a lot of word of mouth. If somebody's happy with your, just they like you, so they're going to come back, and then they're going to tell their 10 friends, and then maybe they will come and shop at your store.
Yeah. Do you want to go over any comments?
Yeah. So Nikki says, I missed to talk about the United States Postal Service. How to give my son medicine. What happened? So yeah, we had a lovely encounter on Friday with the Postal Service worker, United States Postal Service worker, that was helping us do excellent customer service to a customer that had ordered voting merchandise from our store. And so that was amazing. And they went above and beyond, providing excellent customer service to us and the customer. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, we're always thankful for USPS, workers. They always like give such amazing services, and so Nikki, we appreciate you.
100%. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Tip number 7, always be professional. So again, it's all about like how to provide great customer service, how to be communicative, how to be professional. So even if it's a scenario that's not ideal, even if the customer is returning an item for no reason, say thank you. Tell them you've provided a refund, tell them you appreciate them, and just making sure everything's documented. So in case something happens, you always have something to go back to. So, all right, next one. Have empathy for the buyer. Marina, let's talk about empathy.
Yeah, I mean, this can be really difficult sometimes, but always like, we have to put ourselves in the customer's shoes. And I like Tori's comment. She says every customer is important, and it happens when your expectations are pretty high, and if there's an accident along the way with an item. I mean, I know I would be devastated. I would be and then I think Michelle and I, we have these conversations all the time, right? If my item and I was just waiting for it to get there, don't we all wait for our items to get there when we order online? And if there was anything wrong with it, I would be sad. I would be really sad. So, we don't want to give refunds and we don't want to give returns. We would much rather the item always arrive perfectly, into the buyer's hands. But sometimes we do have to do those things, and giving a return doesn't make us sad. Giving a refund doesn't make us sad, like, oh, we're losing profit or something. That doesn't matter to us. We are sad, if the buyer doesn't get what they want. So again, just having that in mind, like how disappointed you might be if something didn't go as expected, whether or not it's our fault, it doesn't matter, goes a long way. And when we have shown empathy, so Michelle said, like, I do a lot of the customer service, but when we have done the empathy strategy, the customer reciprocates it automatically. So if they were ever, reactive, I guess, in their messages, they apologize, and then they express their gratitude. So that's going to be our goal, right, in customer service, to do it like that.
Yeah, and 100%. And it's not only when there's a complaint, right? We have another example about the voting merchandise. There was a poll worker. She works in Missouri as a poll worker. So she approached us and said, I need a vote. I want a vote sweater in 2 days. Can you make it happen? Because she's going to go to to work today on the elections. So, having empathy is really think about, oh my gosh, this election's so important. I know how important it is for you. You got to have the shirt. So let's resolve it, right? So what ended up happening was we shipped the sweater and did a FedEx 2-day shipping, and she got it. She's extremely happy. And this is really about thinking for the customer.
Yes, and tomorrow is Wednesday, and we're going to talk about user experience. So when Michelle and I were setting the live up today, there's customer service. That's a big part of, maybe the very foundation of the business is customer service, but there's another layer to that called customer experience, user experience. So we're going to make tomorrow's live all about that. All right, Michelle, next slide. We have 2 slides left, I think.
Next slide. Marina, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So number 9, I guess tip number 9 is have a script. So I remember when I first learned about customer service, and I think Tori said she worked in a bank for 8 years. So I wonder if they did that there also, because my first job out of college was working at an investment firm. But I used to answer the telephones when a customer would call, and we had a script, right? And our script was like, it was simple, but it was cheery, grateful. And so have a script, just write something out, have something in mind, a way you're going to respond to a customer. So if a customer comes to you and says, hey, I'm unhappy about my order, what are you going to say? So it's better to just have maybe a couple of scripts ready so you don't react, right? You can say, well, we're very sorry to hear that. Something I often do is I try to troubleshoot the problem, the issue, if I can. And I'll say, what's the problem? Oh, did you try, think about maybe doing this or that, or, hey, would you consider accepting a half of a refund, blah, 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 So yeah, so we definitely think having a script is important.
Yep.
Oh, 11 years, Tori said.
Tip
wow.
10.
Okay. Sorry.
Is admit to errors, offer a sincere apology, and a discount for future purchases. In this case, as you guys have seen our Instagram post, we shipped these 2 Pyrex casserole. I always say casserole to the customer. Yeah. And they were broken to pieces. Obviously, we have to respond immediately, apologize, offer a full refund, and see what we could do more for the customer.
And honestly, before even knowing what the customer says, when I see those pictures, I have a lot of empathy and my heart is already broken because I feel bad. Those are vintage items and I want to reuse them. So I do feel bad. But yeah, so we did do that right away. We let them know we're very, very sorry. We offer the immediate. So this is what we do though. We offer an immediate refund. And then we also follow that refund up with a discount, a coupon. So we say, please enjoy this 20% coupon for the next item in our store. So we always, anything where we make a mistake, and sometimes when it's not even our mistake, but they were just so unhappy, we give them as much as we can so they leave on a good note. And we're going to talk more about experience tomorrow in our live tomorrow about user experience.
All right, that's it. The top 10 tips on customer service. And we're going to go to the meme now. Here we go.
Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
The meme, actually, I forgot his name.
Is that that's not The Rock, is it?
Right? It's the guy from the Matrix.
That's not The Rock.
And it says, what have I told you? Polite customers receive better customer service than rude ones.
Yeah, that's definitely not the kind of customer service we're aiming for here, but yeah. That is funny for a reseller. I totally get that. So yeah, so thank you guys for joining us and taking a break from the craziness that is going on right now. I mean, it is historical, but we appreciate you guys turning, well, Michelle looks like she has a TV on, but I don't have the TV on, and I appreciate you guys for coming here today. Morpheus, there we go. And we wish you a lovely rest of your Tuesday night. Hope to see everyone again tomorrow, Wednesday. We will be uploading this video on our podcast, The Flippin' Gals, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcast. It will be live tomorrow because YouTube takes a while to render. So The Matrix, I'm sorry. I've seen that movie, like, I don't know how many times, but a long time ago. So it's been a while. All right. Well,
thanks, everyone.
Hope you have a good dinner if you haven't eaten yet. And we hope you have a good night's sleep. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe and make sure to breathe, says Bill.
Breathe, and drink.
Have a good night, everyone. Love you too, Tori. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Nikki. Have a good night.